Shemot 1, we're going to start Exodus. Shemot, the names, the Hebrew names of these books are just based on the name and the first meaningful name basically in the book. Like the last one, Birashit. Um, at the beginning, that's how it starts. Like this one, Shemot, names. These are the names of the Beni Yisrael. And then the rabbis who translated it to Greek, or who put together the Septuagint, they would name the chapters after, or the books after a theme, after the theme. Like so that's why there's Exodus, because they make Exodus, the people of Israel, the sons of Israel, make exit out of Egypt. So here we begin Shemot. These are the names of Beni Yisrael who came to Egypt, each man with his household who came with Yaakov: Reuben, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda; Yissachar, Zebulun, and Binyamin; Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. All the souls that emanated from the loins of Yaakov numbered 70 souls, including Yosef, who was in Egypt. Yosef died. All his brothers and all that generation also died. The Bani Yisrael were fruitful and prolific, and their population multiplied. They were exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. A new king came into power in Egypt, who did not know Yosef. He said to his people, "Behold, the people of Bani Yisrael are becoming too numerous and strong for us. Come, let us deal wisely with him, lest he increase so much that if there is a war, he will join our enemies and fight against us, driving us from the land." They appointed conscription officers over him to oppress him with their burdens. He, Beni Yisrael, who's they're talking about when they're saying he, built supply cities for pharaohs, Pithom and Ramses. But the more the Egyptians oppressed him, the more the Beni Yisrael increased and spread. The Egyptians came to loathe the Beni Yisrael. The Egyptians enslaved the Beni Yisrael with body-breaking labor. They made their lives bitter with harsh labor involving mortar and bricks and all kinds of work in the fields. All the work they made them do was intended to break them. The king of Egypt spoke to the Hebrew midwives. The name of one of them was Shiphrah, and the name of the other was Puah. He said, "When you deliver Hebrew women, you must look at the birth stool. If it is a boy, kill him, but if it's a girl, let her live." The midwives, however, feared Elohim and did not do as the Egyptian king had told them, and they kept the infant boys alive. The king of Egypt called for the midwives and said, "Why did you do this? You let the infant boys live." The midwives said to Pharaoh, "The Hebrew women are not like the Egyptians. They know how to deliver. Even before a midwife gets to them, they've already given birth." Elohim was good to the midwives, and the people increased and were very good, very mighty. Because the midwives feared God, he gave them houses. Pharaoh then commanded all his people, saying, "Every boy who is born must be thrown into the river, but every girl shall be allowed to live." A man of the house of Levi went and married the daughter of Levi. The woman conceived and bore a son. She saw that he was exceptionally good, and she kept him hidden for 3 months. When she could no longer hide him, she took a papyrus box and coated it with clay and tar. She placed the child in it and placed it in the reeds near the bank of the river. The child's sister stood herself at a distance to see what would happen to him. Pharaoh's daughter went down to bathe by the river, while her maids walked along the river's edge. She saw the box among the reeds and sent her maid, and she fetched it. She opened it, and she saw the child, and behold, a boy was crying. She took pity on it, and said, "This is one of the Hebrew boys." The infant's sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go call for you a nursing mother from the Hebrew women to nurse the child for you?" "Go," said Pharaoh's daughter to her. The young girl went and called the child's mother. Pharaoh's daughter said to her, the child's mother, "Take this child and nurse him for me, and I will pay your fee." The woman took the child and nursed it. When the child grew up, she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She named him Moshe, for she said, "I drew him from the water." It was in those days when Moshe was grown that he began to go out to his brethren and saw their burdens. He saw One day he saw an Egyptian beating one of his Hebrew brethren. He, Moshe, looked all around, and when he saw that no man was there watching, he killed the Egyptian and hid his body in the sand. He went out the next day and beheld two Hebrew men were quarreling. And he said to the wicked one, "Why are you beating your friend?" He, the wicked one, said, "Who made you a man, officer and judge over us? Do you intend to kill me as you killed the Egyptian?" Moshe was frightened, and he said, "So the matter is known." Pharaoh heard about the matter, and he planned to kill Moshe. Moshe fled from Pharaoh and resided in the land of Midian, and he sat near the well. He lived near the well, sat near the well. The priest of Midian had 7 daughters. They came to draw water from the well and fill the troughs to water their father's sheep. Then the shepherds came and chased them away. Moshe got up and came to their aid, and then watered their sheep. When they came to Ruel, their father said to them, "How did you get to come home so early today?" They said, "An Egyptian rescued us from the hands of the shepherds, and he also drew water for us and watered the sheep." He said to his daughters, "And where is he? Why did you abandon the man? Call him and let him eat bread." Moshe agreed to reside with the man, and he gave Moshe his daughter, Zipporah. When she gave birth to a son, he named him Gershom, for he said, "I have been a foreigner in a strange land." A long time passed, and the king of Egypt died. The Bani Yisrael moaned because of their enslavement, and they cried. Their plea about their enslavement went up to God. Elohim heard their groaning, and Elohim remembered his covenant with Abraham, and with Yitzchak, and with Yaakov. Elohim saw the Bani Yisrael, and Elohim took knowledge of them. Moshe tended the sheep. This is chapter 3. Moshe tended the sheep of his father-in-law, Yithro, priest of Midian. He led the sheep to the edge of the wilderness, and he came to the mountain of God in the area of Chorev. An angel of Adonai appeared to him, Moshe, in the heart of a fire, in the midst of a thorn bush. He looked and beheld the bush was on fire, but the bush was not being consumed. Moshe said, "I must turn aside and investigate this great sight. Why doesn't the bush burn?" When Adonai saw that Moshe turned aside to see, Elohim called to him from the midst of the thorn bush and said, "Moshe, Moshe." Moshe, said, "Here I am." God said, "Do not come any closer. Take your shoes off your feet, because the place upon which you are standing is holy ground." God then said, "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, the God of Yaakov." Moshe hid his face, for he was afraid to look at Elohim. Adonai said, "I have indeed seen the suffering of my people that are in Egypt. I have heard how they cry out because of the harshness of their slave masters, and I am aware of their pain. I have descended to free them from the land of Egypt, and to bring them up from that land to a good spacious land, to a land flowing with milk and honey, to the territory of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Now behold, the cry of the Bani Israel has come to me. I have seen the oppression with which the Egyptians oppress them. Now go, I am sending you to Pharaoh, and you will bring my people, the Bani Israel, out of Egypt." Moshe said to Elohim, Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? Am I able to bring the Bani Israel out of Egypt? He, God said, because I will be with you. This will be the proof that I have sent you. When you bring the people out of Egypt, you will see Elohim on this mountain. Moshe said to Elohim, behold, when I come to the Bani Israel and say to them, the God of your fathers sent me to you, they will say to me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? Elohim said to Moshe, Ehyeh asher ehyeh. And he said, this is what you must say to the Bani Israel. Ehyeh sent me to you. So, Ehyeh, I am. Ehyeh asher ehyeh. I am that I am. Ehyeh sent me to you. Elohim continued talking to Moshe. This is what you must say to the Bani Israel. Adonai, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, the God of Yaakov, sent me to you. This is my eternal name, and this is how I am to be mentioned for all generations. Go, gather the elders of Israel, and say to them, Adonai, the God of your fathers, appeared to me, the God of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, saying, I have indeed been mindful of you regarding that which is being done to you in Egypt. I have said, I will bring you up I will bring you up out of the suffering of Egypt to the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, to a land flowing with milk and honey. They will listen to your voice. You and the elders of Israel will come to the king of Egypt and say to him, Adonai, God of the Hebrews, happened to meet with us. Now we request that you let us go into the wilderness for 3 days to bring an offering, sacrifice to Adonai our God. I know that the king of Egypt will not allow you to go on this journey, but not because of his strong hand. I will then send forth my hand and strike Egypt with all my wondrous deeds that I will perform in their midst. Then he, Pharaoh, will send you out. I will give this people grace in the eyes of the Egyptians, and when you go, you will not leave empty-handed. Every woman shall borrow from her neighbor, and from the woman living in her house, articles of silver and gold and clothing. You shall put them on your sons and daughters, and thus you will divest Egypt of its wealth. Chapter 4. Moshe answered and said, they will not believe me. They will not listen to my voice. They'll say, Adonai did not appear to you. Adonai said to him, what is that in your hand? He said, a rod? God said, throw it on the ground. He, Moshe, threw it on the ground, and it turned into a snake. Moshe ran away from it. Adonai said to Moshe, reach out your hand and grasp its tail. He reached out his hand and took hold of it, and it became a rod in his hand. This is so that they will believe that Adonai appeared to you, the God of their fathers, God of Abraham, God of Yitzchak, God of Yaakov. Adonai said furthermore to him, Moshe, put your hand in your bosom. He put his hand in his bosom, and when he withdrew it, his hand had become a snow-like tzoras. He, Adonai, said, put your hand into your bosom again, Moshe. Moshe put his hand into his bosom again, and when he withdrew it from his bosom, it had become normal as his flesh. If they do not believe you, and they do not listen to the voice of proof of the first miraculous sign, then they will believe the voice of proof of the latter, second sign. And if they will not believe if they will not believe even these 2 signs, and they will not listen to your voice, then you shall take from the water of the river and pour it on the dry land. The water that you will take from the river will turn into blood on the dry land. Moshe said to Adonai, I beg you, Adonai, I am not a man of words, not since yesterday, not since the day before, not from the time you first spoke to your servant, for I am clumsy of mouth and clumsy of tongue. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdata min lisani yafqahu qawli. Adonai said to him, who gave man a mouth, or who makes a person dumb or deaf? Who makes a person see or makes him blind? Is it not I, Adonai? Now I will be with you, I will be with your mouth and teach you what to say. Moshe said, I beg you, Adonai, my master, please send the one you usually send. Adonai displayed anger toward Moshe and said, Is not Aharon the Levite your brother? I know that he knows how to speak. Behold, he is setting out to meet you, and when he sees you, he will rejoice in his heart. You will speak to him and put the words in his mouth. I will be with your mouth and with his mouth, and I will teach you what to do. He will speak to the people for you. He will be your spokesman, and you will be his master. Take this rod in your hand, for with it you will perform the miraculous sign. Moshe went and returned to Yetzer, his father-in-law, and said to him, I would like to leave and return to my brothers in Egypt to see if they are still alive. Yisro said to Moshe, Go in peace. Adonai said to Moshe and Midian, Go return to Egypt, for they have died, all the men who had sought your life. Moshe then took his wife and his sons and set them to ride on the donkey, and he returned to the land of Egypt. Moshe took the rod of God in his hand. Adonai said to Moshe, On your way back to Egypt, see all the wondrous signs that I have placed in your hand. Keep in mind all the wondrous signs that I have placed in your hand, and do them before Pharaoh. I will harden his heart, and he will not send the people out. You will say to the Pharaoh, This is what Adonai said, Yisrael is my son, my firstborn. And I have said to you, Send out my son, and let him serve me. If you refuse to send him, behold, I will slay your own firstborn son. He, Moshe, was along the way in the inn. Adonai confronted him and wanted to kill him. Zipporah took a flintstone and cut off her son's foreskin and threw it to his feet, saying, You are a bridegroom of blood to me. He then withdrew from Moshe. Then he said, You are a bridegroom of blood to me because of the circumcision. Adonai said to Aaron, Go meet Moshe in the desert. He, Aaron, went and met him at the mountain of God, and he kissed him. Moshe told Aaron all the words of Adonai with which he had sent him, and all the miraculous signs that he had commanded him to demonstrate. Moshe and Aaron went to Egypt, and they gathered all the elders of the Beni Israel. Aaron spoke all the words that Adonai had spoken to Moshe, and he demonstrated the miraculous signs in the eyesight of the people. The people believed when they heard that Adonai was mindful of the Beni Israel and that he had seen their suffering. They bowed their heads and prostrated themselves. I think I'll stop there.